back to Don't Fret Music with Marc. My name is Marc, and last video we talked about musical doodling and just another tool in the toolbox, so to speak, something that you can look at and find ways to express musicality in ways that you may not have anticipated being able to do. On that note, today we're going to take a look at a couple chord shapes and how you can use them on both the guitar and ukulele to find any number of fun expressions of sound and music. And also I'm going to teach you a couple tips and tricks for how to use it to apply to playing with maybe some other musicians if you want to use that as well. So if you want to grab something to play along, go ahead and do that now. Otherwise, stay tuned and we'll just get into it. Very gentle. All right, so what are these two chord shapes, Marc? And let's just get to it. I'll just show you really quick. First of them is I call it an arrow shape. Now this on the guitar corresponds with what you would call a D chord. I'm going to show you up close really quick. Okay. So when you first pick up a guitar and learn a D chord, this is what you're told it is, usually. Now, there's other ways you could play a D chord on a guitar, you know, and these are all available to you, but this is normally where we all start. And so sometimes what it kind of gets to be hard to understand is that this shape that you have with your fingers isn't D. It's just it's more of an arrow with the two sides of it with the point going towards the body of the guitar. And you can kind of say, oh yeah, that's an arrow shape. You go up and you'll find that the sound kind of follows you. You know, and it's walking through things. This is a G chord here, so I've gone up far enough from it. D, E sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. Why am I doing all this? Why belabor the point? Because if you kind of start paying attention to how your shape that you've got with this arrow shape can go up or down, you can play all kinds of things. Now, when you've got a shape like this on a fretted instrument, like guitar or ukulele, you can also move it around and see what kind of sounds come out. And there's all kinds of fun things that go in there. You get into some sort of diminished and sevenths doing this. I recommend playing with all of it. So that to be said, when you have a shape like this down in your brain, you can get so much more out of it than just this. Now, let me show you the second shape, and then after that I want to show you just a quick trick or two that I use to get even more out of these things other than just going up and down to find other chords. This would be a shape I like to call the step shape. So this kind of goes like so. So a step shape, I call it such, and I'll show you up close. It kind of walks up or down. All right, so I showed you on every string. And you're like, oh my goodness, which one are you gonna do? And I want you to know you could do it on any of these, really. It's the same as that D chord discussion we had. So I'm just showing you a bit more with the step shape. And so with this, if you go here, it's an F. So that would be the pointer finger on the B string. Then you create your staircase. If you wanna call it a staircase. Or you could go here, kind of a pseudo C. Funky G. But if you can manage to just play the strings you're pushing down, you get a lot more freedom with the guitar. And what this does is it kind of allows you to play with a whole bunch of different fun things. So, like up here, this is a D chord. This is a C chord. So those two go really well together. You find that with the step shape here by sliding it from there all the way up to about here. 12th fret is D, and down is here. Now all I'm doing is just kind of up and down in the step shape, kind of indiscriminately at first. I don't need to know, just to say I don't need to know what the particular note is that I'm doing when I'm going up and down with an arrow or a step shape. Don't really need to know until I find something that might be of interest, like I told you with the D. When I heard this the first time, I said, oh, that's nice, what is that? And so I did some research, and you can do this anytime you want. You know, as soon as you find something you like, that's when you kind of take pause and work with it. Especially with these two chord shapes here, because you can find a lot between them, right? So, let me show you on the ukulele, and we're going to get to some tips and tricks. Now this works very similar on the ukulele to guitar, just because the shape patterning just kind of lends itself well to, there goes the pick, to fretted instruments. So playing ukulele, got pinched up nice and tight. Let's get right into there. So you got your arrow on a ukulele. That'd be kind of your arrow shape, right? Or a G. And it's similar to the guitar, you just slide around until you find something that you like. And if you do it, the simple way to go would be G, G sharp, A. Ah, there's an A chord. And so there's a lot of joy in that as well. You can also, like I did with the guitar, go either at the bottom 3 strings or at the top. A lot of fun in that as well. Let's take a look at the step shape. Now in the ukulele, it's a really nice pattern to have the step shape and your arrow shape down, because this would be a major chord on the ukulele, and this will be a minor chord. And those go really well together. So let's try that A again. Did you hear that? Oh, it's so nice. If you know that you can do that anywhere, kind of gives you a little bit of fun freedom. So, you got your arrow shape that you can slide up on the guitar and the ukulele. Your step shape you can slide up and down. Now, you've got those down, but you want to do more with it. So what I do is you bring your pinky in, and you get a little extra on this arrow shape. I'm going to show you what I just did there a little closer. Now, if you just looked at that and said, holy moly, no thank you, that is okay. Maybe just kind of sit with exploring where you're at. For those of you that may want a little more on that, you can find a lot with your pinky. And then if you go back and forth between step and arrow and pinky doing things, you can do a lot of music in that, and you can just go up. Let's try it on the guitar. I think you'll find that the concept flows similarly for both instruments, you know. Pick fell down on the ground, but we don't need no pick. So similarly. Did you hear that? I made a mistake. So I was going back and forth between a D chord there, and on the guitar that would be a B minor. But I'm just taking a part of it, just a small part, playing with that while I put my pinky down. So with these two chord shapes, you can find all kinds of little bits with the guitar. That's really lovely if you get into finger picking. You have a lot of options. You can sneak the pointer finger up one, or the pinky finger down, but you're pretty much just playing playing with this bottom string on both guitar and ukulele while you go between an arrow shape and a step shape. Yeah, I'd love to hear in the comments if you've got a tip or a trick like this, maybe 2 shapes that really served you in terms of developing some musicality or have a good universal access to things, or it brought you joy. Because in the end, it's all about finding moments that just bring you just that sense of joy, a little bit of sense of fulfillment, and might encourage you to step back into the ring again with your instrument, guitar, ukulele, whatever it may be. Because if you're finding places that are comforting, that feel authentic, that feel welcoming, you want to return to those places, and I think that you should. Music can bring you so much. It can bring us all so much in terms of what it allows and builds and brings. So bravo for playing. Thank you for listening and engaging with the channel. I'd love to hear more from you. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit that like button. And if you'd like to stay connected with me, you can find more on my website, don'tfretwithmarc.com. Till next week, look forward to seeing you then.